Welcome, guys. It's another episode of The Neutral Corner, proudly sponsored by Treasure Boxing Club. We got the collab with the Drip Waters. It's Danny Glover, the master aficionado, and today we're joined by Lee Chaos Cutler. Welcome, guys. It's another episode of The Neutral.
How you doing? You all right, mate?
All good, man. And yourself?
Yeah, I'm all good, mate. All good. Yeah, just settling back into training now, and yeah, all good.
Yeah, I see recently that you was on holiday down in Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah, it was.
How was that?
Some experience, I tell you. We went down into Florida Keys with a few of my mates, and then we flew out of Miami into Nashville. Had a few days in Nashville. I think we booked a few too many days in Nashville because I don't drink.
Yeah.
But my mate does, but it got a bit on top after about 2 days. I was like, this is a full-on place. But yeah, something you have to see, and it is mental. And I think if I was still drunk, I would have had the best time of my life. But it was a bit full-on. But yeah, great experience.
You didn't get into any bar brawls or anything down with those?
Nah, nothing. Yeah, you know, the Americans, I don't know, we just got on with everyone. They like the British. I think most of the women like the British, but yeah, it was good fun, that's for sure.
Yeah. So what you said, the Keys? So you're down at the Key West?
Yeah, Florida Keys. Yeah, so went down to Key West. That was a nice place, nice chilled. Bit followed before we went to Nashville, and then finished off in Jacksonville where my mate lives. He went out there. He used to play for Bournemouth, and then when he got released from Bournemouth, he went over to play for a college team, and he found a girl and married now, and he's out there. So I go over and see him quite a bit, so it's a good excuse to go over there and see parts of America.
Oh no, that's good, man. So what's he doing? Football or soccer?
Soccer.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Obviously, he played for AFC Bournemouth when he was a bit younger, and then when he got released, went over to America, played for a college team. Don't even know what college team it was, Milwaukee or something. Met his wife now, and yeah, so good excuse to go over there and see him, and it was good fun.
Okay, no, that's good, man. Funny enough, I just come back early this month. I went to Gibraltar, and then from there over to Tangier in Morocco, took the ferry ship over.
Oh, okay.
So Europe into Africa. So that was an interesting trip.
Good fun.
You know what I mean, with the family and that. So yeah, it was nice, man.
That was nice.
Yeah. So yeah, today let everyone know more about you, know your story and stuff. So we like to take you from the beginning. So yeah, let everyone know where you're from, where your family's from, where you grew up and stuff like that.
Yeah, from Bournemouth. Being born and bred in Bournemouth. My mum's actually Irish. Come over here with her mum when her mum and dad broke up. Part of the family come over to England, Bournemouth. Met my dad. Had 3 boys, and I was one of them. And and that's it. We've just lived in Bournemouth ever since, and went from there and got into boxing.
Yeah. So your dad's English then?
My dad's English. Yeah, he's English. He was actually lived in the same place all his life, a little town called Verwood, outside of Bournemouth. But we just sort of call it Bournemouth, I suppose. Like London, if you're from like a little town, you'd just say to the general public, "Oh, I'm from London." Do you know what I mean? Yeah, so
you're from Greater Bournemouth then?
Yeah. So like it's a little town just on the outskirts, and I was sort of born and raised there, and been there sort of my whole life. But now I moved up to London through the week for my career. So yeah. Yeah,
well, that's good, man. So half Celtic warrior, half Anglo-Saxon. That's good.
Yeah.
So what was life like then growing up around Bournemouth, and how was the family dynamic? You with your 2 brothers and stuff like that. How was that?
Yeah, good. I think it's a good way of life down there, you know. It's quite open. We've got the seaside nearby. We've got the country. I had my best mate at the time had a little farm, so we had little motorbikes and we're just riding around on motorbikes, just being idiots. Nice and young. I used to race motorbikes as well, a sport called Speedway, when I was a bit younger as well, before I got into the boxing side of things. And yeah, a good life. It's I sometimes look, I don't mean this in a bad way, but like when I'm up here and I see all the lads, boys and girls getting on the bus from school and stuff, I'm just thinking, it's a different life to what I had, you know, because it was so open and free. It seemed like I said, I was on a farm most of the time with my mate, just riding around on motorbikes, and everything's concrete around here, you know, and you can't really get, and you can see why kids sort of go down the wrong path in that in London a lot, because what else is there to do? So yeah, it's been a good upbringing, and yeah, fun.
So how was school like? How would you say school was, and what schools did you go to, like from infant school, primary school and secondary school? What school life like?
Yeah, I went to first school, got through first school. Some place in the car, I don't know why, we have like 3 schools, like the first school, middle school and upper school. And got through first school all right. Middle school was all right. Started getting into a few little fights, and you do as a kid. And then I got chucked out of upper school. Got to, almost to the end. I got chucked out. I got put on early study leave for a few things, fighting, being a nightmare. So I got early study leave. I was allowed to come back for my tests. Not that I got anything in those tests. Not that I got any results at all. But it was good fun. Good fun. I do. You know, like they say to you when you're at school, you're gonna wish you're back here. And if you like, the teacher goes, give it a few years, you're gonna wish you're back here. And like, that is true. I do wish I could just go back. Not like full time, but I wish I could go back with my mates and just be free willy, you know, just
life's a lot less stressful.
Yeah, a lot less stressful, and just so much fun. Get up late. That's what I used to do. Get up late, probably miss assembly, stroll into school. A couple hours later, go knock on my mate on the way. We'd stop off at the shop, get some sweets and stuff, and great fun.
Yeah. So did you decide? Well, you said you did early study. So did you go into college or anything like that, further education afterwards?
So I started being an electrical apprentice. So I went into college for a little bit doing that, and it just never sort of was me. So then when I was sparking, as they call it, I sort of fell out with my boss, and then somehow got a job as a car salesman and started selling Vauxhall cars when I was 18 years old. And then I wasn't really a cheesy salesman. I was just I got on with people, and I think I wasn't very good at sales. But I got on with people, and I was a likable character, so that's how people would buy a car off me. The sales part was not very good. But then from there, I went over to selling motorbikes, which I knew a little bit more about, for Honda, a little motorbike dealership at the time down in Bournemouth, and only for a year or so, and then turned professional. And from there, as you know, when you first turn professional, you're not making loads of money. So I was working out of the gym I was fighting out of at the time down in Bournemouth, Steve Bendel's gym. Doing a few one-to-ones, taking classes and stuff to get by, as well as fighting professional then. Down in Bournemouth, had a lot of my fights down in Bournemouth and Southampton, my early fights. So got a decent fan base. I was a decent ticket seller, so always done all right on the small hall shows.
Yeah, so I was going to say, you would have had something in common with Mr. Fast Car Eddie doing the car sales and all that. So then taking it back a bit, so how did you get into boxing, and what was it that inspired you to first start taking it up, and how old was you?
I think I used to love a fight at school, I still do now. Not outside of boxing, but I just love a fight. But I used to just love a fight, and my older brother always wanted to get me into boxing, but my mum would never let me. and he could see I was always in trouble with getting in fights and stuff. And my mum wouldn't ever let me box, so I used to go to school, get on the school bus. Oh, I'm just gonna go. He just had his daughter, his first daughter. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna go see Rihanna, and help Chris, Dean look after Rihanna, and go see my niece and spend a bit of time with them. But then he would take me to the boxing gym, and we'd done that for about a year. So that was like twice a week. Our amateur club was only open on a Tuesday and a Thursday, so they were the days I'd done it. And then I'd go back to Dean, stay, and then go to school, get on the school bus, and go back home. And we'd done that for about a year until we had my first fight coming up. And then I eventually broke it to my mum that I've been going boxing the whole time.
Yeah.
And she hit the roof. But she was like, you must really want to do it if you've spent this long and gone through this much effort to eventually have your first fight coming up. So now she's a big supporter and loves it.
Okay, no, that's good. So your brother must be quite a bit older than you then.
Yeah, a lot older. So there's 4 years in between us all. I was the youngest boy. I had a middle brother, Jake, and then Dean, who was the oldest.
Okay.
So he paid all my fees, got me to the boxing gym,
Like your subs and that.
Yeah. I think first I had to borrow his like shorts and that. He's a bit bigger than me now, but I've still got a kit bag he gave me like the first session. I still use it to this day. It's in my car.
Okay. I've seen it then. Yeah.
I still use the same kit bag to get to the gym as what he did the first time I started boxing, because obviously I went to his house. I didn't have anything, didn't have any gloves, didn't have any boots or anything. I borrowed a pair of his ones. Like, he never boxed at all. He just went to a boxing gym and done a little bit of training with his mates, and then he become a bit of a nightmare, was out fighting and stuff. And that's why my mum would never let me box, because she thought I'd always go down that wrong path, like think I'm a little bit hard or whatever, and which sort of I can understand where she's coming from, but it never done that for me. I was just always sort of, as soon as I started boxing, I was more tired and couldn't be bothered to
go out,
trouble in school and go out. I was more focused on the boxing and trying to improve and become better.
Yeah. So what did your dad think about you doing the boxing then?
Dad he just doesn't really care. He's just like, I was racing at the time as well, so it was just one of those. And then it sort of comes to a head later on, and a few years later, that I'm gonna have to give one of them up. And obviously racing motorbikes was costing a lot of money, and it comes to a point where it's like I was at a decent level, but it was like how much you spend on the motorbikes to get anything. Like, I'm like second in Britain, like 3 times in the top. All the top boys were spending thousands and thousands. We never had that money. But with boxing, you get in what you put out, like you get out what you put in.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I liked about it. So eventually quit the motorbike racing, and then the boxing just took over. And now my dad loves it and comes to support me all the time. And they all get behind me.
No, I love that. So then your first amateur, so your amateur club was what? Paul ABC?
Paul ABC, that's it, yeah.
Yes.
With Chris Billam-Smith.
Okay.
So we're both in the same gym down in a little club in Poole, which is near Bournemouth again. So, both started. I can remember the first day I went into, it was the first time I got introduced to Chris. I walked into the gym to, like they do to get your medicals and your carded and stuff. They weighed you to see what you're going to be weighing for your fights, so they can try to get you a match. Yeah. Chris had just come in and won the novices at the time, and I can just remember that feeling of everyone just going, well done, mate, well done, you're a national champion now, like we just won the novice national championships. And I thought, oh, that's so cool. I'd love that to be me one day. I'm walking in and everyone's congratulating me and stuff. So yeah, that was the day I sort of weighed in and I think done my medical. I think the doctor was there, or done the medical that night and stuff. So it's then ever since then, me and Chris, become pretty close, train with each other on the weekends, and he's obviously a little bit older than me, and he's always been like a big brother to me in boxing, and always sound off things with Chris. So now we're living together in London,
Imagine.
So it's mad how the world works, and now we're here.
So then how old was you when you had your first bout then? And do you remember who it was against? And how it went?
Yeah, I remember my first bout. It's quite funny. Like the week before, our club closed down.
Yeah.
Because they were doing they were like painting it or doing it up. I can't remember what happened. So we had to go borrow a gym in Bournemouth, a different gym to get like for a ring for sparring and stuff. So I walked in. I was fighting this kid that was actually a year older than me. I was 15 at the time, but he had all tattoos and stuff. And his name was Jimbo Cooper, and I think he was a bit of a bad man. Like
Sounds like a little bad boy name.
I can remember like he was like well known in our area, and he's like, "Oh, you're fighting Jimbo Cooper? Yeah, he's a bit of a handful. He is, and like stocky lad." And I always thought I was a little bit handy as well for my first fight. And I can remember going, it was his gym that we were borrowing, and we like bumped into each other as I'd just finished my sparring session. Obviously, I think on the Saturday they had a session just after, but it was the week after we boxed on my home show, and I stopped him in about, it must have been about 30 seconds.
Oh wow!
It's him on 1-2 standing count, and then boxed again, and 1-2 left hook right hand, and then the referee jumped in. So it was
Stop boxing!
Yeah, done. Yeah, I was buzzed, mate. Do you know how embarrassing this is, right? And no one will let me forget. Chris won't let me forget. I jumped on the ropes. My first amateur fight. I jumped on the ropes. The corner buckle. I was like this. How embarrassing. Like now I look back at that and I just cringe thinking about it. Like the whole place was packed out as well, to be fair. So many people would come. I can remember being ill all week as well, but I was also scared about that. I was like, my brother's gonna think I'm just bottling it, because my brother had put a lot of time into me getting to boxing and stuff. Had my first fight, I was really ill, like being sick and stuff, and I was like, Mum, don't tell Dean, he's gonna think I'm bottling it and try and so the fight don't happen. So I think the first day that I actually felt okay was the day of the fight, and then I think me and my brother went and had a big breakfast, cooked breakfast, fry up, because I was a bit underweight because of the illness, and then boxed that night and got the stoppage. It's jumped on the ropes and
you just won the Ring magazine.
It is so embarrassing when I think about that, and I was like, if I saw any kid do it now, I would cringe watching it. So I just can imagine what all the more experienced boys were around like thinking at the time. But it's a funny story and a funny story to tell,
Yeah. I see you boxed a guy, Jason Malone in Chelmsford.
Yes. Yeah. That was I think it was the junior ABA pre-quarter or quarterfinals. Yeah, it was quarterfinals. And then that year I lost in the semi-finals to Yahya Chelly, who's Zach Chelly's brother.
Oh.
But at the time I think he was the better brother, but I lost him on split in his counties. It was a close fight. I thought I nicked it, amateur boxing is, and lost. He went on to win the championships, and that was a depressing day, because I can remember like when you win the championship, obviously that was in the semi-finals. He went on to the finals, won. And then I got a little summer job at the time. I think I was about 16. I was hodging bricks up a ladder for what it was, like 30, 40 quid a day or whatever it was at the time. And then I've at lunchtime, looked on my phone, I see the England team getting all their kit. Obviously, this Yahya Chelly getting his England kit. And I can remember sitting in my car and just like crying, thinking like that could have been me. I lost on split. He went on to win the championships, and they just flew out to Ireland to box for England in the Tri-Nations or whatever it used to be called back then. Yeah,
Tri-Nations or Four Nations.
Yeah, Four Nations. And then I can remember sitting there in my car just like looking at them all like posing in their kits, flying out to I remember being real gutted that day, and I was working on a building site just thinking I could have been over in Ireland boxing for England right now, and I'm not. I'm sat here. And that was that was a horrible, horrible day. But I must have been 17 because I was driving at the time. I can't remember. But horrible time. And then after that, went on later on that year, boxed in the under 20 bout novice championships and won that. I was the youngest in it. Like I said, I was only 17, and boxed every single round, and won the under 20 bout national championships at the time.
As a senior, yes.
As a senior, Senior, I was the youngest in it. I've still got like lads I chat to now who I boxed in it. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Great experience.
Yeah.
And great memories.
Well, I'm going back a bit where you said that about school, where you got kicked out because you was having, too much fights and nightmares and stuff like that. And then I see a little video of you at 15 years old knocking out a 27-year-old army squaddy man in some barn.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
That's the Great Dorset Steam Fair. They used to have a boxing ring, and I think this is, I don't even think I had a bout properly at the time, but I'd started boxing.
Okay.
And basically it was like, I think they don't do it now because it's against like health and safety and that, but years ago down the Great Dorset Steam Fair, they'd be out there and they'd be like, anyone want to go in a fight? You'd fight for like £10, I think it was at the time, but I was only 15 and £10 was a lot of money.
Yeah, of course.
Like, that's going to buy me drinks for the night, or that's going to buy me, I don't know, a burger. So I was like, yeah, right. There was this older guy up there and he was like, I thought, I box and that's £10. You know what I mean? That was 15 quid, I think it might have been at the time. I can't remember. So I was like, all right, I'm going to do it. And all my mates like, go on, Lee. So I was like, yeah, all right. This guy was up there, like a lot older, like tattoos and stuff. I was only like 15. He must have been drunk or something as well. So got up, got in the ring, and then just like humiliated him, which now I feel bad.
Left uppercut, straight right.
Yeah, now I feel bad, but then I thought I was the boy. I was like, yeah, I'm the boy. All my mates are like, I was like buzzing. The video went like everywhere. It was posted on everyone's Facebooks and that at the time. It was, comes up on my Facebook every year.
In memories.
I'll reshare it. Yeah. Everyone goes on about it.
You don't feel that bad then?
Nah, not that bad. But yeah, great memories. But I can remember all my mates talking to his mates, and they were like, in Blandford, where it is, there's a army base, and he was one of the soldiers or something in the army base at the time, and I think they were having a few drinks that night, and that's probably what I battered him. But
it's not going to go down too well back in base.
Yeah,
done by a school
they probably
kid.
still take the piss out of him now for it.
Yeah, it's a school kid done him.
If anyone can find out who that guy is, please do. I don't know if he's from around our area. I don't know if he's just been posted to Blandford or whatever. But yeah, well, great memories.
Yeah, no, that was good. That's good stuff, man.
Yeah.
So then, after the novices, did you go into like the ABAs and stuff like that?
Yeah, I did. The year after that, I broke my hand a couple times, so I missed out on the championships that year. I think the year after, the first year I broke up with like a long-term girlfriend. Heartbreak, didn't make the weight. I missed the weight by about 0.2 in the first round, which I was gutted about. Young love and stuff. But the year after I broke my hand, in a fight, in sparring, it healed up, and then I broke it in. Like I obviously didn't let it heal enough, and cracked it again. Just here, I don't know what that bone's called, but there's still like a callus on it.
Some metacarpal, something like that.
Yeah. So in a fight, which was it was our home show, and it was a couple weeks before the championships, and my luck, I broke it. Couldn't enter the championships that year, and the third time moved up to 75 kilos and won the first round in a rematch against a kid who beat me a few years before, and
what was his name?
Nearly stopped him. His name was Mickey Parsons. He beat me on my home show a few years before, and then I was rematching him in the first round of the championships or the Western County Finals or whatever it was, and nearly stopped him. Like I had 2 standing counts, I think I gave him that night, and moving on, I was confident, and then went to the quarterfinals and lost to a lad, and that was my last amateur fight ever. Yeah, I was confident in beating this kid. His record wasn't that great, and I remember nailing him with an overhand right straight away, and I was so switched off that night of how like confident I was, and I just nailed him. I remember Connor Walker, who's now the welterweight British champion, was boxing, and we got on at the time. We like messed each other, and I can remember I was that switched off. The amateurs championships, they have like the rings going at the same time. Yeah. Obviously he had won his fight, and I can remember being boxing and hearing, Connor Connor Walker, the winner, Connor Walker. And I come and think, Connor's just won. And I'm like mid-bout. That's how like switched off I was and just wasn't up for it. But again, it was a lesson to learn. It was a close fight, lost on split. And I thought that's the end of my amateur career. because I was like, I'm not waiting another whole year. I think I was about 22 to try and do those championships. And my main goal was to try and get an England vest. And obviously it didn't happen that year. So I thought it's time to turn over. And I'm glad I did.
Yeah. So then you deciding what gym you wanted to go to, was it just an easy thing where normally people just go down to Stephen Bendel's because that's your local pro gym?
Yeah, he was. Steve Bendel had a great amateur career and a decent professional career, and he was managing professionals at the time. And my amateur coach at the time, one of my amateur coaches at the time, also like was like my best friend for a long time. He had done his pro badges and stuff, and then we just started doing it together, and we were learning on the job. And we had my first, I think, but this was just before I moved to the McGuigan gym, and I stayed with him for most of my professional career, and until I did make the move with Josh Pritchard at the McGuigan gym. So I just went down to Steve's. I signed my first professional management license with him, and then we just cracked on and was selling out the little arena down at the O2 in Bournemouth.
O2 Academy.
O2 Academy, yeah. And I got a Southern Area title there, which was a cracking night, sold out, everyone there supporting. It was great memories.
Yeah, because I remember Steve Bendel, he fought Wayne Alexander in the ABA finals.
Yes, that's so weird you say that. It was the first time I seen that fight. It was literally the other day. You know when you're in a real hole on your phone.
Okay.
And I was in a real hole, and I've seen it, and I recognise that bloke there. And it had Bendel versus Alexander, and he drops Alexander, and then Alexander stops him.
Yeah,
and I sent it to Chris Billiver. I was like, this is the best amateur fight. How have I never seen this? It was like first round. It was over. I couldn't believe it.
I've seen it for years because Wayne's my mate. So I've seen him when he knocked out Chris Bessie as well, who's like the army guy who won like ABA about 8-10 times.
Yeah.
So Wayne had serious power. I remember I even sparred him, and that was like the end of his career. And I got like the white flash. It was like, bloody hell, if this was 10 ounce.
Yeah.
It's been very, very dangerous, man. So, but no, it was a good fight, though.
Yeah, unbelievable fight. Yeah, I watched it and I was like, this is. You could tell how hard that Wayne could punch, because like as soon as he hit Steve, like it was like, whoa, his legs just like stiffened up. I was like, he could obviously known for being a massive puncher, wasn't he? So But I couldn't believe it. It was like the first time I've seen that, and I was in the gym with Steve for years. The first time I'd seen that fight, and I was like, that is the best amateur fight or first round I've ever seen. Incredible. Yeah, it was.
Wayne's had some classics. If you can watch his amateur fight versus Richard Williams, he lost it. Richard Williams won. He was the former British, and he won the IBO. Richard Williams as well. He was from Battersea, ABC. Yeah, The Secret. He's a trainer now as well. But that was a great fight as well. So, but I remember also before you turned pro, I think you were still amateur. You did like some training with David Hay. I see.
Yeah. So that was went up to David Hay's gym. It was when Chris, I think he hadn't even turned pro yet. He went up to spar with David Hay, and Chris hadn't turned pro. I was still with my amateur coach, and I sparred Josh Taylor.
All right.
It didn't go too great for me that time. I think we done like 4 rounds, and I'd done all right, but obviously unbelievable talent, Josh Taylor. I was only 18, 19 at the time. Chris was just about to turn pro, or a couple of he had done a lot of sparring with George Groves and stuff, and I don't know, David Hay had needed some sparring partners in, and as we was watching, David Hayes chinned his first sparring partner. And,
He was known for doing that, you know?
yeah, chinned his first sparring partner. And I looked at Chris, I went, "You're next." Chris was like, "Oh no," put his gloves on. But yeah, it was a good little technical spar for Chris and stuff, because obviously Dave knew like Chris was only in 86 and 91 as an amateur.
Yeah.
I think David A was sort of at the end of his career, at his like.
How did your spar with, what was it, like a technical spar with Josh Taylor? And did you spar anyone else?
No, I didn't spar anyone else, just Josh. I think I've done 4 or 6 rounds first time. Sparred him a few times. Went up to McGuigan's to spar with Josh a few times, but first time was sort of a bit of a rude awakening. Stayed in there, but unbelievable talent, and yeah, it showed you the levels in boxing at that time, you know.
Yeah. So in your debut, you fought Casey Blair.
Yeah.
And that was his 50th bout, and I think he'd only been stopped about 10 times previously, and you managed to take him out.
Got him out there in the first round. Yeah, and everyone was shocked at that, because he's known as a tough journeyman.
And he'd gone the distance with, you know, some decent names,
good lads, yeah. And it was like the first round, I remember nailed him with a right hand on top of his head, and his legs just went, and I was like, it's different in these big, in these small 10-ounce gloves, you know. As an amateur, you're in like pillows almost. They're a really like cushiony glove, and it was the first time I'd had a pair of professional gloves on, and I felt my knuckle go through onto his head and just like it switch him off for a split second, and I'm like, this is different. Yeah. Obviously you're wary of what's coming back, but then I boxed and I just got onto the ropes and the referee jumped in, and it was that was a good night. It was a good night. Some great memories again from then. But yeah.
Yeah. Then you went on, stopped a few other guys, and then you was 7-0.
Yep.
And then with 4 KOs, and you went in with Brad Raya, who was 9-0, 3 KOs.
Yep.
And that didn't go your way that night. Do you think? No. What would you put that down to? Would you put it down to a bit of sort of inactivity, because you hadn't boxed since like November 2019, which was quite a long time, and that was in 2021.
Yeah,
because obviously the pandemic and stuff.
I think it was inexperience. I know he was very inexperienced as well at the time, but it was upper weight at middleweight. It was through the pandemic, because put on a lot of weight. And then after Christmas, I thought, I'm going to just get back in shape. I lost a lot of weight very quickly, but it was at the weight above, so there's no excuse for it. Little bit of nerves. I didn't eat a thing after the weigh-in. And I just remember being in the ring. I can remember the first jab that hit me just buzzed me, because I just did not refuel. I was probably lighter going into that fight. Bear in mind it was at middleweight. I probably went in at the ring at the limit than what I do now. You know, what I get in the ring at now. I'm with a proper team that knows how to rehydrate properly. And you can see like now with my fights, like I'm not chinny, you know.
Yeah.
I remember but that was just inexperience and not knowing nutrition, and I was a little bit sort of dumb to it all. I was just like, well, I've never been chinned in the amateurs or even hurt in sparring, so you know, I'll be all right, because I was like trying to eat something. I was nervous. I remember being really nervous. Obviously I knew everyone was watching. It was through the pandemic, so nothing was going on. We were live on the YouTube, and obviously everyone at home, and I was only young as well at the time, everyone was tuning in. It was a big event then. Do you know what I mean? It was, for me, it was huge. I knew everyone was watching. And
Lawrence Okoli versus Glowacki.
Yeah, it was when he won the world title. Yeah. And then it was funny how a few years later I was boxing on the same card, which was 2 years yesterday, where he lost the world title. But luckily that night went better for me. That night went a lot better for me. That was against another undefeated kid, and I beat him. But yeah, back to the Brad Ray fight. I get on with Brad. I still like, he's now a light heavyweight, so that's how big he was.
Yeah, he's fighting for the European title
now. So So yeah, just inexperience, and I'm not saying even if I'd done it well, it was going to go my way or anything. But if you actually watch the fight, I was doing well. I was snapping his head back with a jab and stuff. But I can remember the first jab that landed on me, it just buzzed me, and I was like, backed myself up to the ropes, and he just rattled off a few shots, and they just switched me off for a split second. I know I've got a good chin. I was straight up. I was like, it's fine. But like every shot that was hitting me was just switching me off, and I got up 3 times, like I was ready to keep going. Like, you actually hear me on the cameras, it's like brutal to watch. You hear me on the cameras like, nah, I'm all right to the ref. Like, I generally felt like I was all right, but you know, it's good that he saved me to fight another day. And yeah, I learned a lot from that, and then got on a nutritionist, and yeah, it's everything sort of seems to be working out now.
Yeah. And then you boxed in Luxembourg 3 months later. So you didn't sort of go and you like, you know, some people, they go off for ages and they go all like silent and they go missing for ages. But you were straight out there 3 months later out in Luxembourg.
Yeah, I was really thankful for that. I had a good sponsor at the time that paid for the whole trip, got us out to Luxembourg. I'd just come off a loss, so it was the best thing for me to get straight back in the gym, get me training. The opponents were absolutely terrible because there was 3 of us that went out there, so I'm not going to say they were that good. I stopped them in like the first round, but they were really bad. But that was not what the trip was about. The trip was about getting the weight off again with a nutritionist and everything, going through the whole process, boxing, and getting back to winning ways, and hopefully setting up some more big fights, which is what happened. It was a great little trip and some great memories on that trip with Joe Pigford, who we were in the gym with, who I was in the gym with my mate Jack Simpson as well. Yeah, great little trip.
Yeah, and then you won the Southern Area title, 2nd round knockout versus Scott
James.
Scott James,
he had a 50-50 record at the time. He was a tough journeyman. He'd been in with some tough people, and I think he only been stopped once or twice. One of them with Hamza Shiraz. So very good, very tough bloke. He would come off a few wins with against undefeated kids or prospects. So we got the fight with him, and stopped him in round 2, I think it was. And then later that year, which was it was good. Then Chris started bringing the Bournemouth shows down to Bournemouth. So the first one was in the summer against Isaac Chamberlain. So
that was in the international.
Yeah, the Bournemouth, the BIC, which is unbelievable atmosphere in that place. I was boxed a couple of times there now. Then again later on in the year, he boxed where he had one of the knockouts of the year. And I boxed on that one as well. So I felt like I was living my dream. I was back on Sky Sports. So I was back to winning ways and in good form. So, yeah, it was a great year.
Yeah, that was a great year, like 2022. And then talking about sort of 2022, you made a life decision change. So, yeah, tell us more about like to stop drinking.
Yeah. I went out to, after my Southern Area title fight, Southern Area champion of the world, as the boys say in the gym. My Southern Area championship of the world. I went to my mate's wedding in America. The guy who I was talking about, who I just went out to see again,
Mr. and Mrs. K.
Yeah, Mr. and Mrs. K. We went out and had a great time. 10 days of like hard drinking. We're all just had the best holiday I ever had, and then. Afterwards, I just thought, I've got to give this boxing everything now, and just knocked on the head. And first of all, I was like, I'm going to just do a year. And then Chris, when I got back, I had my brother's wedding, I had his stag do, and he goes, mate, just say to people you're quitting drinking for the rest of your career. Like, just say that, because, mate, like, if you say you're just going to do a year, people will tempt you into it. People will go, mate, come on, it's one drink, you know, it's your brother's wedding, or it's your brother's stag do, come on, mate. Just and I went, yeah, people were trying to do that, and I was like, yeah, you're right. And then about 3 months into that, I was like, yeah, I'm going to do the rest of my career. And now it's 3 years later, I haven't touched a drink.
Yeah, and that was in Naples Park, Florida. You was
at his wedding, and great place, really sunny. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like a nice event. And that was May 16th.
Yeah, May 16th was the last time I remember being in the bar, my last drink, and then I was like, all right, this is it, going home tomorrow. That's the year. At the time I was like, oh, I'm going to do a year without drinking and see how far the boxing goes and stuff. And it was straight after that, that's when the Sky Sports shows started happening in Bournemouth with Chris. So it was a great platform to start building the momentum and getting my name out there a bit more. So it all happened at the right time.
Yeah, and then so the next year you fought for the English title versus
Kingsley
Eggbunike.
Benike.
Yeah. Because I remember he boxed my friend Hollywood Joshua Ejak Povey in the final eliminator for the English title. 2 fights before then he had like a 6-rounder, and then he fought you. And yeah, that was a good fight. He was hitting him with some big shots and
to be honest, I thought he was going to go over. Like, I thought, I'm going to nail this kid, because he had been stopped once before. He'd been in with some alright lad. He took a fight out in Russia and stuff against an undefeated kid, and I think he got a draw, but he should have won that because he dropped the kid and stuff.
Okay.
So I knew he was a good lad, Kingsley. So I just thought, I'm far too strong for him, and I think that's what showed on the night. But he was much tougher than I thought he would. I thought he'd be harder to hit, but when I did hit him, that would be it. But it was the other way around. He was easier to hit than I thought, but he was a lot tougher than I thought again. So great fight, great learning fight on Sky Sports. Good slot. Just before Chris defended. I think it was an eliminator for the world title or something at the time. Because Chris, because he was world champion. Sorry, because on the stadium fight, I boxed a Stanley Stannard in an English title eliminator, beat him once Chris was world champion. I then made the move to the McGuigan gym, and then fought Kingsley, and then got that win, which was big win. English title, Southern Area English title. I've just got to get the British title now.
So no, that was good. Good propellant. And sorry, back to the drinking it. So when did you first start drinking? Was you like a teenager? Because I know a lot of people, every city, even around the world, quite a lot of young people, especially I noticed, especially in small towns and cities, the culture is, because there's not much going on, you're out sort of drinking in parks and stuff from an early age, from school. So is that something you did from a young age?
Yeah, I did. But it was only be in the off season of boxing. And I wasn't when we weren't boxing, because boxing is obviously like amateur boxing anyway.
Yeah, it's seasonal.
It's seasonal. And our boxing club closed down through the summer because obviously voluntary run. Some boxing clubs don't close down. They keep going all summer long and go into box cups and things. But we just never done that it was only a small little amateur club. So, through the summer would be the only time I sort of with my mates, if we had like little events on or little festivals we'd go to and stuff, I'd have a little drink. And then, like I said, it's like, I think when you're at that age, it's easier to get influenced into having a drink and stuff. And I enjoyed it with my mates and stuff. But then when the boxing started getting serious, I thought it was time to knock it on the head. I wouldn't drink, like when I was professional as well, I wouldn't drink for like 8 to 10 weeks leading up to a fight anyway. So it wasn't like it was a problem and I was like, because
there was a status you put, like some would say, is because the way you
alcohol,
the way you alluded to it, like it was a problem or something. You was joking.
No, like I was having a bit of banter because I was like, I sound like an alcoholic. Like I'm 3 years clean or whatever, 3 years sober, and then I sound like an alcoholic. That wasn't the issue, but it's just. You
just wanted to be more dedicated.
But and I just thought like, 3 years is a long time, and people always say to me like, that must be so hard, because I go out and enjoy, like go to clubs still and do all the stuff that normal, but I can just get off when I want to, when it's getting a bit too, all the boys are getting a little bit sloppy and now I'm like, right, it's time to bounce. But
you sound like Craig, because when he was younger, obviously, but when he, like before he started boxing, and then like very early in amateur, he used to have a little drink or whatever when we're out or stuff like that. Because I didn't start drinking till I stopped boxing at 24, because I started boxing at 10. So I was a late comer.
Yeah.
And then when he said, I actually want to do this like properly, then he just stopped and he hasn't. So when he
he
goes
told
out,
me.
when he goes out of us, if he sees people just, he's like, yeah, I've got training in the morning, and he's cutting. So everyone else just carries on with their time. And yeah, that's just how he is.
That's it. It's at the start of the night. It's fine for me. I can deal with it. You know, when everyone's just like pre-drinking or stuff. That's the fun part. That's the part I sometimes miss. I'm like, I can have a drink now. I feel a little bit. But just later on the night when everyone's starting to get a little
silly.
bit so like asking you the same questions that they've just asked you, and obviously being involved in boxing and in a small town like Bournemouth, you get asked quite a few questions and stuff like, oh, when your next boxing? But it's the same questions every time. It's like, I can't be doing with this. I've got to go. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so definitely the right decision to quit the drinking. But yeah, it was never a problem. But it was just, when I could have a drink, I'd probably take it too far because I never had a proper full-time job at that point. When I turned professional, I just took a few classes in Steve Bendel's gym. It would be like, I had a lot of free time. So when I didn't have a fight coming up, it would be like, oh, should I just go to the pub? And it is that wasn't a problem, but it was just too much.
No, it's just a cultural thing,
Yeah,
I think.
you shouldn't. Yeah, it's something you should be doing as a professional athlete if you want to do anything in a sport.
Yeah.
I think a lot, like Errol Spence put something out there recently. I don't know if you know more about it. I can't remember what he said.
Yeah, no, he said that he wishes basically he didn't go down that path of drinking so heavily and stayed more focused, and he feels his career would have had a bit more longevity, because he keeps flirting with the idea of coming back, but I think he's toasted.
Yeah.
And I think he kind of knows he only has to blame himself for that.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to stop, because I don't want any excuses. I'm not one of those guys that sit there and say, like, give excuses after it. Do you know what I mean? I have reasons for why things happen, like the Brad Ray fight. I have reason, like that's a good, valid reason. But yeah, I don't want to be sat there at the end of my career. I coulda, woulda, shoulda. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd rather sit there and go, I'll give it everything. But you know what? I wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
I was good enough.
Yeah.
You know?
Like Chris Smith, because people say, you know,
and I think being around him has helped me do that and be the way he is. You know, if he wasn't around, I don't know if I would have quit drinking. I probably would have still enjoyed a drink, or, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, because even guys like Kelly Pavlik as well, he's another one who, you know, massive puncher. He went down the path of, you know, drinking, and that sort of messed up his career when he was on a roll. Sergei Kovalev. So it's been an issue in sports, you know, Maradona, Paul Gascoigne. Yeah. So yeah,
he's actually down in Bournemouth quite a bit now.
Paul, is he?
Gascoigne, yeah. I don't know why. I got family down there or something.
Yeah, and even a guy not far from me in Portsmouth, Tony Oki.
Yeah.
Oki Koki. You know what I mean? So yeah, but no, much respect to you.
I think it's just because of that Ricky Hatton era. Do you know what I mean? He got away with it, like, but not everyone does.
No.
Like, he got away with it up to a point, obviously. But yeah, so I think everyone just thinks, oh, let's live like Ricky Hatton. Do you know what I mean? Ricky Fatton or whatever.
Yeah, but, drinks and fry-ups.
He was really talented, do you know what I mean? And most of us are not as talented as what he was, you know? So we've got to look for the extra edges here and there, you know?
Yeah, no, but much respect to you for, you know, 3 years this month. And yeah, that's one of the reasons why, because you was asking about the drinks and stuff, because normally I've got this, well, this is a new one, but I don't know if you watch the show where I normally have this Ragga drink. Okay. It's like this Ragga rum and tonic. But I thought, out of respect that, you know, you stopped drinking, we're not putting any alcohol on this table, we're going to advertise.
It's not that bad. You had a problem.
I did. I did.
He had a problem.
I did. I'm sorry. I actually thought it was an issue. So, I thought you was a recovering. No, serious. That's what I didn't put the Raggers.
I can't believe it.
Shout out Ragga, yeah.
But I was
my heart was in the right place.
That's good. That's nice of you.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, because I bet that was hard, you know, for recovering. I am not a recovering alcoholic, that's for sure. Just so you know.
Yeah.
Just for, you know, health purposes and stuff. But
okay.
That's hilarious. That's actually. That must have been how people read that. It was a bit.
No, that's how I read it. Yeah. So I said, you know, I'm gonna.
If you know me day to day, I think a lot of people would have like would know I was only having a bit of a joke. But That's funny.
No.
Maybe people that don't know me think, oh God, he was a proper. Probably saw me really drunk in Bournemouth one night. Thought, yeah, he was. He was a nightmare.
Well, at least now we've cleared this up.
We've cleared this up.
No,
I'm not a recovering alcoholic, but
Yeah.
I could have been. I could have been. It could have been later if I carried on drinking. That's why I don't even know if I'd ever go back to drinking now, because sort of person I am, I think I'd chase it. Do you know what I mean? Try to chase that feeling again,
Yeah. Or try and do that whole, oh, I need to catch up.
Yeah. On all the times I missed out on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think I'll drink again. No.
Yeah, no, respect to that. So then, after you won the English title, I noticed you didn't box for a whole year.
Yeah.
What was that down to? Because you just won 2 titles back to back.
Yeah.
So what was the issue? What was stalling you? Because I remember at the time, when I was coming down the gym and stuff, you was waiting on a date. It was taking for ages. What was the issue?
A little bit of personal stuff, really, which I don't need to go into, but mentally, I wasn't in a good place. Going through a few things, got offered a few offers here and there. It didn't sit right at the time. But we sort of sorted that out sort of midway through the year, and then we was just waiting. Then I got back into really good shape. I was waiting for for another opportunity, and then I was sparring Adam Azim, having a good spar with him, and he thumbed me in the eye and caused an injury just as we was getting a fight on Sky again. And we was like, I've just getting an opportunity, and literally I went to the hospital that night. They were like, you've got to have 4 weeks without punching. And I think the fight was in like 3 weeks. It was like a last minute thing, which just a freak accident. It was just, it could happen to anyone.
Yeah.
And that happened, so that stalled me again. And then we were looking at, I sort of got back to sparring and stuff again. I stayed in good shape, and then we were looking for those opportunities. Went out to Saudi Arabia with Chris when he lost his world title to Ramirez, and at the same time as we got offered the fight against Stevie McKenna. We took the fight. I was ready for the fight at that time, and the rest is history.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that. Gilberto Ramirez, aka Zerdo, on Latino night.
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
It was
it was a good,
fantastic experience going out there and seeing how it runs. Obviously, you've been out to Saudi?
Yeah. Last year with the 5 vs 5 with Craig Richards. Yeah.
So they really looked after us. We was training in the Mike Tyson gym.
Oh, you was in that one because I didn't get to go to that one. We was down at the other one, the arena gym.
Oh, really?
The one where Usyk was training. If you ask Shane about that, that is state of the art.
Really?
Like, yeah, if you ask Shane and Josh, the training facilities, I've never seen a gym like that in my life. It's massive and it's got literally everything in it. Ask them about the arena gym. It's way better than the Tyson one. From what I've seen, the pictures of Tyson one's a lot smaller. Obviously, it's more geared to boxing. This one's like a open fitness gym, which they obviously do subscriptions, but they made a makeshift boxing bit in the back end of it,
really,
for like the boxers and stuff.
I saw Canelo was over obviously for his fight, and he was in the Mike Tyson gym as well, so his opponent might have been in that one. But yeah, got looked after really well. Sky was out there for Chris, and at the same time as sort of the fight was getting made between me and Stevie McKenna. So I was in great shape at that point, training hard alongside my mate Chris. Obviously, he didn't come away with a victory that week, but still great learning and great to be around. You know?
Yeah. So, so what I forgot to mention is, so what was it that made you transition from Stephen Bendel into to Shane McGuigan? Because I saw you did a week with Shane, and then you was with Josh doing pads and stuff, and then so what made you make that move? And because it's interesting that you're now in the gym with Chris, who's from your area, and Josh, who's basically in the neighbouring city from you, from Portsmouth. So it's kind of like a home away from home for you guys. You're all together. So what was
obviously
that like?
The fact Chris is there, seeing his success, and again, like I quit drinking, and that was a decision that I made to try and fulfill my potential. And it was the same with with the making the move. I was with my amateur coach at the time, who was like my best mate. So it was a really hard decision to do, but I just thought, I've got one shot at this boxing, you know. I gave Shane, I went to Chris's one night. I said, look, do you think the boys will train me? And they should come up on a trial. And had a trial with Josh, and soon sort of made the decision that I'm gonna make the move up to London and give it everything. And it was a very hard decision because I'd been with my coach since the amateurs, and we had a lot, you know, we were like best friends, do you know what I mean? So it was a very, very hard decision, but definitely the right decision. And at least now I can sit at the end of my career, no matter what happens from this point forward, I can say I'll give it everything. But I think if I didn't make that move or that adjustment, I will always be like, what if I just, you know, and I could have quite comfortably stayed down home. Like, it's a lot cheaper to live at home.
Yeah, of course.
A lot than London, do you know what I mean? And it's a lot cheaper and then I'm around all my friends and all my family. So it was just, you've got a short time at this career, so why not give it absolutely everything? And then at the end, I'll have no excuses and sit there and think, I'll give it my all. Yeah. And then if I'm good enough, I'm good enough. If I'm not, I'm not. You know? Yeah. And that's how I fought.
Yeah. So then going back to the Steve McKenna
fight,
15-0, 14 knockouts. I think you know that you was definitely the underdog going into that fight. He's a big knockout record, and him and his brother are just tearing through everybody. You've seen Aaron, what he's just done to Liam Smith the other month. So yeah, how was that? The build up, because it got very spicy. I don't know where the animosity came from, but he was just starting on you. But you was giving as good as you got.
Yeah, I've got some funny stuff to tell you about that kid later, anyway. But talking about the fight and that, it was a ladies. The ladies were fighting. Then there was two. Forgot their names. Was on this bill in Liverpool, but our fight was a great fight and everyone was really looking forward to it. And then the needle between me and Stevie, like, I don't really give people needle, do you know what I mean? I just, like, unless they give it to me, I'm confident. Do you know, but I don't need to tell you I'm going to knock your head off. Like, I'm going to have a fight with you. Like, I'll save that for the ring. But straight away, like he does with every opponent, he's on me, calling me a weasel, and, you know, I didn't want to take the fight earlier on in the year, blah, 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 blah. You know, don't run, you're a coward, all this sort of stuff.
You're a small man.
Yeah,
you're a small man.
Yeah, I'm a small man. And then I done some, I pulled the goofy face at him, which went viral. It was like,
that's when I knew you had him.
Yeah.
Because before that,
didn't he?
Because before that, I'll have to admit, he was winning all the verbal exchanges, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But as soon as you did that goofy thing and his face, and I thought, oh, you've got him. Finally.
And I can remember just standing there, I had my hands like that, and he's trying to grab him off. And I'm just like, get off, you weasel. I was like, I was so composed and just laughing about it. And I don't know, at that time, I was just so, like, confident. I was like, even though I was a massive underdog, but I was just like, I'm giving it everything. So he's going to get it. I was just getting so much stick off of doing that goofy face. I was getting, him and his team said, you're going to be a meme Monday morning or Sunday morning, you know, and look who the meme was.
You dropped him in the first round, dropped him in the seventh.
Seventh,
as well.
Yeah, like the early rounds were close. I always start a little bit slower than I probably should. But after I dropped him, I got comfortable in there. Like, he wasn't affecting me at all. I had no punch power.
Really? Because I was going to ask you that, because 15-0, 14 knockouts, what was the power like?
I think it was just, he normally overwhelms people. Joe Laws was tired as well. And he normally overwhelms people. He'd never been in. I was saying it in the build-up. He's never been in with a fully fledged super welterweight. Someone that puts, I'm not the tallest, do you know what I mean? But I'm physically strong.
Yeah, no, you're very, thick set, and you're
set. Now I make the weight right and rehydrate properly, and And I think people get confidence off of the Brad Ray fight. And I was saying that as well. I was like, everyone gets confidence because they think, oh, he must be really chinny and that. Like, no, trust me. Like, I'm not saying I would have beat Brad Ray like that night. Like, I'm not saying that at all because he's a very, very good boxer. But my chin that night is not what it is. Do you know what I mean?
It's not an example.
That's not an example. It was just being clueless, and no disrespect to my old coach and stuff, but we were learning on the job together. It wasn't like I had somebody there that knew all about it anyway. He said, no, you have to eat, you have to. I was just, I'll be all right. I've never been hurt before. So people gain all this confidence off of that defeat. And he was like, kept like sending me videos of me getting knocked out like people do and trying to get under my skin, you know, and it sort of backfired for him. Got a funny story, and this just goes to show you sort of the nature of him and what he's like. So bear in mind all the shit in the build up he was giving me, having a go at me, calling me a weasel and all of that. But when you give people shit, you've got to expect in boxing, if it goes wrong for you, like, so what? If it goes right for you, it raises your profile. If you're giving someone shit and then you knock them out, it looks great, doesn't it? But the Sam Edgington fight, my last fight, just gets made. So Boxer posts a video of me doing all the stuff and then knocking him down and that. And the little bitch just crying all over social media, saying that's so disrespectful. They don't even promote you. Like, why does it matter? Like, you've got to expect that, haven't you? If you're giving people shit, just look at Conor McGregor, for instance. Do you know what I mean? He was the best at doing it. And then he'd like pull it off. But you've got to expect, if you're going to give someone shit and it goes wrong for you, like on the night you get dropped heavily or you get beat up and lose. Yeah. Like, that's the position we choose to put ourselves in boxing. But they were just crying all over social media, and I just lost so much respect for them. Like, that's so disrespectful. No, it's not disrespectful. It's just boxing. Their boxer are trying to hype their fight up that they've got. Because if it happened to him, if it happened to me, and I was the one that was getting beat up, and then he went on to fight Sam Edgington, I'm sure he'd be sharing it all over the place, you know, me getting sparked out or whatever. But they just they can't take it. And then, yeah, obviously we're going to go on about the Edgington fight. But after that fight, they're messaging me going, ha, 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 where was your worm this time? And where was your, like, just disrespectful. They're just like, I'm so under their skin.
Yeah, sour grapes, sore losers.
Yeah.
I don't like
have
that.
Respect for that. Do you know what I mean? It's boxing. They should be hoping I'm doing well because then it looks better for them.
Yeah.
He's a better fighter. Do you know what I mean? But they couldn't wait, and it was a controversial decision, and they're still like jumping on the back of it, like absolutely
rejoicing
buzzing that I've just lost. And then another thing,
on a technical decision, by the way.
Like Barry McGuigan just got social media because obviously he was on The Jungle. Posted a photo of me on his social media saying, well done to Lee. Don't even think he put who I boxed or anything. It was just, well done to Lee. Obviously, I'm in his son's gym under Josh. And the whole family and that was commenting underneath going like, and then to the point where Barry had to delete it saying, this is so disrespectful. We've looked up to you forever. They just can't take it. Like, all he put was, well done to Lee. You're in the gym. I see Barry every week, comes in for sparring, gives me advice. They were like trying to make it this issue, like he's from Ireland, Barry's from Ireland, trying to make it this like where you're from.
Yeah, no, it's not. Trying to make it political.
Yeah, trying to make it like to the point where Barry and all his social media thought, oh, I'll just delete it. Do you know what I mean?
But you should have said, well, you're Irish too.
Yeah, well, I am, but nobody really knows that. Nobody really knows that. Like, my mum said that's what is surreal for my mum. She's Irish, and like she can remember getting around a small TV to watch Barry win the world title and stuff. And they're like, and all her family gone, that's how we Barry on the TV and stuff. And now he's part of like my team, you know, and that's surreal for my mum. But yeah, it just goes to show you the nature of Stevie McKenna and his team, or whether it's his brothers and that brothers or his dad that runs that social media. I just think they're a bunch of numpties, and I'd happily slap him again if he wants to fights me at super welterweight. But,
I don't understand that, because what if you win and you're promoting someone's fight, you're gonna put their highlight reels on. That's just part of promoting their next fight. So if you when say for instance when he's been winning all these fights and they're saying, oh yeah, Stephen McKenna's on next week. They're going to show him.
They see him knocking out Joe Laws.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Everyone left, right, centre.
He can share all that, can't he? And then all the disrespect that he's said to Joe Laws in the build-up, he's allowed to do that. But as soon as it happens to him, he cries about it.
Yeah,
You've
even
got to
Fury.
expect when you're in boxing and you want to dish the shit out, and if it doesn't go your way, you've just got to put your hands up and go, I tried. Because if it does go well for you, just like with Conor McGregor, like the best who've done it, his profile shoots through the roof and he makes loads of money. Do you know what I mean?
Like
but
Fury.
you can't have the best of both worlds, it and then cry about it when it backfires in your face. Do you know what I mean?
I was going to say, like Tyson Fury, you know, one of the best to do it in like boxing and stuff. When he's knocking out Wilder, uppercutted Dillian White, but then when he's like going pillar to post against Usyk, he's got to accept that that's part of the highlight reel.
Exactly. That's it. That's what we sign up to when we get into boxing. You've got to accept that. So yeah, just lost massive respect for him. I just think just sore losers, absolutely sore losers. Yeah, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
But it's okay for them to share it all over. And I accepted that goofy face that I pulled, and I got told by him and his whole family that's going to be a meme Monday morning when I'm knocked out. Who was the meme that backfired in your face? And then he starts crying when Boxer tried to boost a fight that they've put on, that they've paid money to put on, and they can't, and that they had to take it down because they cried about it.
Yeah.
Just goes to show you what sort of people they are.
Yeah, it's what it is, man. But then we move on to your most recent fight, controversial, versus Sam Edgington. You know, the warrior. It's unbelievable his age because he's been around forever, fought everybody. You know, this one was the build-up was a lot more respectful.
Yeah.
You know, you both respect each other and, you know, it was all very amicable. Good, tough fight. What did you think of the fight? Because in my opinion, well, I'll let you go first.
The fight in there, I felt comfortable. I didn't feel I was down at all, but I can see why people had me down at the time. So I'm not like moaning about one of the scorecards was ridiculous. I think they had me losing every single round. The other two, like, I'm away from home. I've got to win the rounds clear. Like, I'm away from home. I put my title on the line in his backyard. I can see that I was around. You know, I'm not going to sit there and moan about the scorecards. But at the point of the stoppage, I was well in control. I had won like the previous 3 rounds or whatever, whether you had me down or not. That's how I felt in there, and I felt comfortable. I felt he was gassing. I felt him getting weaker and weaker, and I was just pushing him around. And to be fair, I didn't even know I'd cut him with a punch, and then it wasn't till straight after the fight you see the clip of me clear as day slicing his eye open with a punch. And then his teams just tried to create this narrative that I was using my head all night. Like, it's a fight. We're both come forward fighters. You know what Sam's like. He's in great fights all the time. You know, I'm been in like 2 fight of the year contenders now. Like, do you know what I mean? It's we're in good fight. We're in a fight. Like, you're gonna clash heads. The first cut was heads, hands down, which was the other side of his eye. But you can clearly see when they slowed it down on the cameras, the right side of his face, the left side of his face with my right hand, slit his eye. And then straight after it, I actually screenshotted the photo and to when he's doing his interview, his ringside interview. And they're almost identical. Maybe slightly bigger in his ringside interview, but only they're pretty identical. And no head clashes has happened after that. And I nail him with about 2 clean rear hands after it as well. So I think that's where the uproar has happened a little bit, and I feel like a little bit hard done by because I felt in control. Fair enough, if he was like beating me and he was winning every single round, and then I've like just pulled off a punch, and then it's I probably would be a little bit more quiet because I would be. How many times have we seen in boxing when people are losing every round and then they pull out a punch of the gods and knock someone clean out?
Yeah.
This is the same thing, but obviously I haven't knocked him out. But in the rule book of boxing, if you cut them and it gets stopped on a cut, but by a punch, it should be a TKO victory. I know boxing and like they don't do replays with the British Boxing Board, or they don't go on.
Yeah, they don't do the VAR type thing.
They don't. I just think the referee that night, people make mistakes, and I just think the referee made mistakes. So we knew they weren't going to change the decision. I'm not bothered about the decision. They've taken that away from me on that night anyway. They've like had his hand raised in front of thousands of fans. We just wanted to try and get the rematch in. So we went to the WBC, appealed it to try and get the rematch, and they have obviously seen it. We knew they weren't going to overturn a decision because that very rarely happens. There always goes with the referee's discretion. And but yeah, we've got the rematch ordered, and yeah, I don't think he's going to take it still. He keeps saying it in interviews and stuff that he says, they said straight after. No, they didn't say straight after the fight me. That's why we went the way through the WBC. We was like, we knew he was not going to fight me again, because in the ring he goes, mate, we'll see. I was like, mate, let's get it back on again. And he's like, we'll see. They're going to have to pay me a lot more money. And I can remember thinking to myself, they are not taking that rematch, because they know how physically strong I am in a hard fight. I'm a hard fight for him, which is fair enough. So we went about it, went down the WBC route to try and get a rematch ordered. And now him and his team are saying, it's the way we've gone about it. We're disrespectful and stuff. No, we're not disrespectful. You would have done exactly the same if the shoe was on the other foot, which is a bit annoying. I just want that rematch more than anything. But yeah, we're just gonna sit and wait. Hopefully, Sky can drum up some money. There's a little bit of a story there now, and I think people would love to see the fight again.
Yeah,
so,
I would, because he's a household name. You're a household name now. You was coming on top. On the back end of that, and you was, on a rally, as you said, 3 rounds in a row, and you was winning that round. And then even the round when they pulled it out on the 9th, I remember in the corner, John Pegg was like, yeah, you can't see, can you? You can't see. Yeah. It's like he was giving him the instruction to say you can't see, because he thought, let's go to the cars now, because we might still be up right here. But if we keep going to this points thing, he's going to overtake us any second now. So that's when they
see how tired he was.
Yeah.
I understand why some people had, a lot of people had a draw at that point. I understand why I was down, but I was down for a reason, because I was making him work hard. And that's why he was so gassed in those last few rounds. And you can see how their corner reacted, screaming at him. And I had so much left in the tank. There was no way he was going to win those last 2 rounds.
No, I didn't see that. Yeah, I saw you on the ascendancy to take those last 2 and just get over the line, really.
Yeah, and that's it. So, I feel a little bit hard done by. I've sort of accepted it now. I just hope somehow the rematch gets made, but I really don't think he's going to take it. I thought Sam, being the way he is, being that there was controversy, there's a bit of a story now, he would honour that rematch that the WBC has put in place. But yeah, I don't think he will do. He knows it's a tough fight, and he knows it was only going one way if it had carried on. Yeah.
So have you heard any news about, is it going to be that, or are you looking at a next fight? Is he going to relinquish the belt and then you fight for the WBC?
He said that he would in an interview, that he was going to relinquish if it gets it. Well, now it's been ordered. It's only a small belt, he said. Which, it is a smaller belt than what he's won before, but it gives you a world ranking. And now there's a bit of a story and a bit of a name on Sky. Obviously, he's a name. Hopefully, I think he'd get more money for a fight against me than he would against fighting for a British title now,
Yeah.
And now that British title's tied up now for the next few months anyway. So I'm still got a little bit of hope that he might take it, but I don't know. We're just waiting. I'm training, and whatever opportunity comes next, I'm waiting to take.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we've covered most stuff. So yeah, we'll go into the penultimate round. It's a series of questions. 1 second. Don't know if you watch the show. You do watch the show, so you know how this goes.
I watched the little clips. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like multiple choice question. So yeah, hit that bell. Red corner or blue corner?
Red.
Left hook or straight right?
Left hook.
Everlast or fly?
Fly.
Cleto Reyes or Grants?
Grants.
Rival or winning?
Winning.
Paffin Sports or RDX?
Paffin.
Leon or Venom?
Leon.
For boots, Nike or Adidas?
Nike.
Everlast or Lonsdale?
Everlast.
For fight venues, O2 Academy or International Centre in Bournemouth?
Or International Centre.
Yeah.
Oh, saying that, that's a hard one. I'm going to have to go with a draw on that one. Can I go with a draw?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Wembley Arena or Resorts World Arena?
Oh, I really did like Resorts World. That was
Yeah, it is a nice place, to be fair.
It's the first time I've walked out for a fight. There was a booze and that, and I thought, I'm living my dream.
Yeah.
Because it was a packed out card. It was like sell out at the time for the Ben Whittaker fight. Obviously, we were co-main event. It's the first time I stood on the stage and I thought, I'm really living my dream. Like packed out crowd, just unbelievable feeling.
Yeah. Tupac or Biggie?
Oh, a 2-pack.
Drake or Kendrick Lamar?
I don't really know. Drake.
Future or Tory Lanez?
Tory Lanez.
Ali or...
What that is. I don't even know what that is. What have I done? What have I said that? I don't even have got a clue what that is.
Oh my gosh.
What is that?
It's the artist.
Oh, right. I got a clue.
Rappers, yeah.
Oh, no.
Muhammad Ali or Mike Tyson?
Ooh, Ali. Got to go Ali.
Jack Johnson or Joe Lewis?
Joe Lewis.
Sugar Ray Robinson or Sugar Ray Leonard?
Sugar Ray Leonard.
Michael Buffer or Jimmy Lennon Jr.?
Michael Buffer.
Fights, Callum Smith or Anthony Yard?
Callum Smith.
Daniel Dubois or Usyk 2?
Ooh. Daniel Dubois.
A lot of people are thinking it's the right time for him, you know.
I reckon he's going to do it.
Yeah.
I've got a weird feeling he's going to do it.
Fabio Wardley versus Justice Hooney.
I'm just going to go Fabio. He's at home, isn't he? So I'm just going to go Fabio for that one.
Jack Catterall or Harlem Eubank?
Carroll.
Ryan Garner versus Reece Bellotti.
Got to go with South Coast lad, Ryan Garner.
Yeah. Royston Barney Smith versus Danny Quartermain.
Royston Barney Smith.
Yeah, it's another one of your
he's
boys.
Down our way. Yeah. he's an unbelievable talent, that lad.
Yeah. Artur Beterbiev versus Dimitri Bivol in the trilogy. This last one. How'd you see it going?
I think Bivol wins again. I think Beterbiev is at the end.
Yeah.
He's at the end, and I can't see him doing any better. But Bivol can adapt. So, yeah.
Be a hard fight still, but
it's still going to be a hard fight. They're both unbelievable talents. So yeah.
Canelo Alvarez or Terence Crawford?
I've got to go on my guy Canelo.
Hamza Shiraz versus Edgar Berlanga.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I've got a weird thing that Edgar Berlanga will win.
Okay. Shakur Stevenson versus Javante Davis.
Davis.
Tank, yeah.
Yeah.
Zerdo Ramirez versus Jaya Pataya.
I'm going to go Zerdo.
Okay.
I just don't think Jaya's had the wins yet. The wins that he's getting a lot of hype off of the opponents he's faced, and he hasn't. His resume isn't as good as the hype yet. I don't think he might be, but
so you don't rate the Marius Bradis win?
Oh, the Bradis win, but that's but Bradis at the end of his career. Do you know what I mean? And at the end of the fight, again, it was going towards Bradis. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like that's Bradis at the very end of his career. What is he now? 39 or something, Bradis?
Yeah, about that, yeah.
Yeah. So like,
And he's retired now.
yeah, and he's retired. It was at the very end of his career.
Yeah.
But yeah, great talent, unbelievable. But I think is the hype he's getting is not off the wins that you know.
Yeah, it's the more devastating
resume.
fashion
Yeah.
he's dealing with people.
Yeah, that's the only thing, obviously. But yeah,
Yeah.
he's a great talent.
Lawrence Okoli versus Richie Riakporhe.
Lawrence.
David Adelaide versus TKV2. Because they're set for the rematch.
David Adelaide.
Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury.
Fury.
All right, so for women, Savannah Marshall versus Shadesha Green.
Savannah.
Caroline Dubois versus Terry Harper.
Caroline, gotta go Caroline.
I've got Caroline. I think she'll do.
She'll do everyone. But
No, but I think she'll just smoke it. Did you see Terry Harper's last fight on Friday?
I haven't caught of it. No.
The woman the person she was fighting couldn't even shape up
Yeah.
properly, and I was like, Caroline would have took this woman out in 1 or 2 rounds, like,
Caroline,
and he went points. I was like,
incredible. I see her every day. So
yeah, I've seen
in the
it.
gym, she's spectacular. It's going to be a comfortable win for Caroline, that one.
Yeah, Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano 3.
Got Katie Taylor.
Ellie Scottney versus Yamileth Mercado.
Ellie, obviously. She's
Come
in
on.
the gym.
BMW or Mercedes?
BMW.
Audi or Lexus?
Audi.
Rolls Royce or Bentley?
Bentley.
For women, blondes or brunettes?
Blondes.
Come on. Looks or personality?
Oh, I'm going to get personality on that one.
Blue eyes, brown eyes or green eyes?
Blue eyes.
Slimline or curvy thick?
Slim.
Natural or surgery?
Natural.
Come on.
Come on.
For music, garage or house?
None.
None, yeah. All right.
None. Yeah.
Salsa or ramba?
Oh, salsa.
Country or folk music?
Country.
Oh, you know, because I see you down in Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah.
The Gunland.
Yeah.
Pop or club dance anthems?
Dance anthems.
Yeah. So, R&B or hip hop?
R&B.
Dancehall or Afro beats?
I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't know.
Oh, you don't know. Oh.
No, I wouldn't even know. Like, I wouldn't know. Like, give me 2.
Vibes Cartel or Burna Boy?
I don't know. Yeah.
No.
Skip.
We'll skip.
Next.
Rock or heavy metal?
Oh, I have to go rock because heavy metal. Oh yeah, no, neither. But
Yeah.
rock if I had to.
Pie and mash or fish and chips?
I haven't had power mash, but I really want to. I reckon I really like it, but I've got to go fish and chips because, yeah, I need that pie and mash.
Yeah.
You know, I need
Cod or haddock?
cod.
Rock or place? Place? It's Plaice. It's always on the menu.
Next.
Yeah. Scampi or calamari?
Calamari all day.
Jellied eels or cockle?
Neither.
No. Ribeye steak or fillet steak?
Fillet.
Shepherd's pie or cottage pie?
Cottage pie.
Cornish pasty or beef patty?
Cornish pasty.
Chicken tikka or jerk chicken?
Chicken tikka.
Chicken korma or jalfrezi?
Jalfrezi all day.
Yeah, that is nice, to be fair. Where we going? We got to go through, skip all it. Evian or Volvic?
Volvic.
Voss or Fiji?
Fiji.
Labour, Conservative or Reform?
That's gone over my head.
Oh, you don't do politics.
Nah, I don't do politics.
Okay.
I tell you what, being out in America, that's all they care about. That's all they ask you is about politics. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, mate, I don't really care what goes on in my own country. Like, why would I care what's happening? Because they want to ask what you think of,
Democrats and
and of
Republicans.
Yeah, of Trump and stuff. They're like, so you guys hate Trump? I was like, mate, I don't care. Like, I'm not that into politics.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what's going on in my country.
Yeah. Lucozade Sport or Wow Hydrate?
Lucozade.
Country life or city life?
Country life.
And then, where was it? So yeah, bonsai or camel?
Is that clubs?
Yeah, camel toe. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bonsai.
yeah. Bonsai was decent. Now got some. From
That was
my,
like the club when I was younger. Do you know what I mean? When we all
I went
go
there
to-
for my friend. We went there years ago. It was for my friend Jason Alexander's 30th. Back in the day. So then, a couple
in
other
Bournemouth.
ones.
You're talking
Yeah,
about
Bournemouth. Yeah,
I thought that was a chain. I was like, when you were saying it, I was like, it must be a chain. But yeah, Bonsai was like the place.
yeah.
Camel, like I don't really last that long. Camel,
Yeah,
like,
that's late
end
night.
of the night.
Yeah, that's where we went after.
Yeah,
Bonsai.
yeah, no,
yeah.
definitely Bonsai when it was about. Yeah.
Lost or Aruba?
Oh, depends. I'm gonna go Lost because it was like just reminds me of my being a bit younger and stuff.
Yeah. Ivy or Rockwater?
Rockwater.
Bendels or Hands of Stone?
Let's go with Bendels.
The Pier or Sobo Beach?
Sobo Beach. It's Sobo. Sobo is good.
Yeah.
Sobo is good. I like this. Yeah. Sobo is a good one. It's right on the beach.
Yeah.
Nice music. You know,
Yeah.
coffee.
These days.
Coffee these days. But yeah, it's decent. Decent
Yeah.
little place in Bournemouth.
Okay. Thank you for to Creaser / acting up for those Bournemouth questions for me. The only one I did was Bonsai and Camel. He gave me the other one. So big ups to you.
Bonsai's not going anymore, which
No?
is a bit sad, yeah, but
All good things come to an end.
Place. Yeah. It was the place.
Yeah. So anything else you want to let the people know?
Nah, just stay tuned for what's next. Got a big few years in my career, and let's hope Sam McGuigan takes the rematch. But I don't quite think he will.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on. It's
Thank you.
much appreciated.
Thank you.
And
Fun.
yeah, man. And we'll make sure we give everyone your social media handles. Sorry, look into that one because I think that battery died.
Oh, okay. Lee Cutler. Lee Cutler _TCT on Instagram. And I don't really know what my handles are on anything else, but it's all around the same. Lee Cutler _TCT on Instagram, and you'll catch most of it on everything I'm doing. I keep everyone updated on there. And just Lee Cutler on Facebook, that's more for the older generation. You got to keep them.
Yeah.
I got to keep them in the loop.
Yeah, exactly. The original supporters. And there you have it, guys. It's another episode of The Neutral Corner, proudly sponsored by Treasure Boxing Club. It's Danny Glover, the master aficionado, and we've been joined today by the former Southern Area English WBC International light middleweight champion, Lee Chaos Cutler. And remember, guys, persistence beats resistance. You know where it is. Ha ha.